Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well, and thanks for joining us for another live stream, which, as you can see from the title, is an anniversary live stream. Well, in fact, it's more than one anniversary because not only is it the anniversary of TFE, it's pretty much the anniversary of the first ever live stream I did. Hello, Rust. Yes, a year ago today, actually, we were in Antarctica. I wasn't live streaming. That was about 30 hours from now will be the anniversary of when I live streamed, because I live streamed at about 9 p.m. Antarctica time, which was about 1 a.m. UK time, I think, on the 16th. In fact, this time right now, 365 days ago, we were in Antarctica at Union Glacier Camp, having got off the plane, got to the camp, had the induction around everywhere, and then we were waiting for our luggage to be brought from the plane so that we could get everything that we needed onto the Tucker and up to halfway point, and we were stood around playing frisbee. Good times. So yes, this is the anniversary of that, and I do have some surprises in store for everybody. First, however, I clearly need to address Yeah But No, who's been in the chat spamming about 10 GPS receivers failing. And he seems it's absolutely impossible that 10 GPS receivers would all fail. I think what he seems to overlook is the 10 GPS receivers didn't actually fail, and the issue was the one website of the final experiment wasn't able to update from the one server of where those 10 GPS receivers were all connected to. That was the problem we were having with them, was the fact that the receivers would all work. They were all connected to Will's account, and they were connected fine. The problem was the TFE's website wasn't updating it. And we thought at some point it might be, at one point when we were on the bus going to the airport, Will thought that it might be because there was just too many receivers on his account. So he asked us all to get our own accounts on our own phones and link each receiver to that in the hope that it fixed it. But it didn't. It wasn't the receivers were broken. It was the website, for whatever reason, wasn't able to update everything. But is what it is. But Yeah But No right here really epitomizes the point of what this stream says, which is a year later, and this is the desperation that we're left with. That, the trip must be fake because of a technical issue that we were having with the website. Not everything else that goes with it, but it's just, yeah, I can find this one little thing that I'm going to say proves it all wrong. So, anyway, so yes, it's the anniversary of the final experiment, and we've had a year of flat Earth meltdown ever since, with everything being a case of now. What amuses me with flat earthers' responses is a lot of them will say, we're just asking questions. If the 24-hour sun exists, then so be it. And yet, 365 days later, and I don't know of any flat earthers who can just actually say, yes, there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. The only ones that I know who've said that are no longer flat earthers, because that's all the preface of going, there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, that doesn't work on a flat earth, therefore earth can't be flat. Every other still flat earther is going, oh, well, if there's a 24-hour sun, then yeah, so be it. It doesn't bother me, but I'm not going to accept it because I'm going to find any reason not to. So including, obviously, all the 360-degree footage, which is the big present that I'm bringing for this as an anniversary celebration. If you've not seen it, MC Toon has been publishing on his Conspiracy Toons channel all his GoPro video. Oh, I say GoPro, it's a DJI he's got, but it's the same basic thing. We called it Tuna. It was an integral part of the trip. really was tuning his tuner, because he was walking around with this selfie stick with this little action camera on it, just filming absolutely everything. Like, I'm the photographer, I'm the videographer. I didn't film as much as he did. Jonathan was there making a documentary. I'm pretty sure he didn't film as much as Toon was filming with that action camera. So Toon he was just documenting everything with this GoPro. And I'm sure I had a picture of him somewhere with it, but anyway, he's been publishing over the last couple of days. He's basically took all of the videos from this action camera and he's been releasing them day by day. So right now on his Conspiracy Tunes channel is the footage from that action camera whilst we were at halfway point. So it was as we'd first arrived and we were getting everything set up. And then during the midnight live stream that was done on the TFE channel, and then he followed that up with doing a live stream of his own. And again, he had the GoPro running for huge chunks of it, really. Basically, anytime he was doing anything like work on the sundial or setting up other bits and pieces, he had this camera running. So he's been publishing those videos. However, I've also been able to get hold of those action cam videos as well, along with the two 24-hour 360-degree videos from both of Will's cameras. Obviously, I had my time lapse. Jaren recently showed the solar camera that he had set up. He recently showed that on one of his live streams, so I managed to get the video from that as well. And then, as you've seen, if you've seen any of the live streams that I've done about TFE since, I took a lot of photos and videos, just generally sort of in and around halfway point while we were there. So I did a live stream the other day talking about how had an idea for a mega project of syncing everything up. And that is the gift that I am bringing this Christmas to fans of TFE, which is I have put together an entire 25-hour period from when Will started recording on his 360-degree cameras to the point he finished recording. I have gone through and I have put together both of his cameras and my 360 time-lapse and Jaren's solar camera and Toon's GoPro and Jaren's body cam that he had, the little GoPro that he was walking around with, and all the live streams and my photos and my videos. And I've pieced them all together into what has ended up being two ginormous videos. I decided one of the things I did for this, as you'll see, is I didn't put, because it's 25 hours of recording and YouTube limits you to 12 hours of video. So when Will published the 360-degree cameras and Toon did his 360, they shot for more than 24 hours. So they ended up splitting it over 3 videos. And really, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try and keep it to 2. So what I've done, because I'm just using footage that is already on YouTube for the world to see, where there's periods that we've gone away from camp and we went back to the main camp for meals and we were gone for an hour and a half at a time, I've just sped those portions up. So all the footage is still there, but the bits where we're not around is just sped up. And once this live stream ends, I'm going to have those videos premiering on my channel. So they'll be playing in real time from the point that Will starts his camera and running through one whole video and then on to the next video, and basically gives you the opportunity to relive the 24 hours that we were there in Antarctica. But really what I want with this one is just to make it unquestionable for any flat earthers, because the funny bit for me is that in their desperation responses, they get like one of the 360 camera photos, like my 360 time lapse, but they'll only look at that one little bit. So the number of people I get commenting on that 48-second tracked shot that I first put up and I uploaded from Union Glacier, and they say, oh, you know, this could be fake, this could be this could be that, you didn't show us anything else. And I'm like, here's the 360. Or they'll comment on the 360 and they'll say, oh, look, Toon's shadows are changing length and it doesn't look right from this view. Or, but they only look at it from one camera. Even though all the footage has been online for a year, none of them have seemingly thought to put all of the footage together into one place. Hence what I've decided to do. So yeah, I'll show you some little clips of this that I've found, little bits that I really like. That's probably going to send a couple of flat earthers nuts in a minute. What's this? So for the 1 year anniversary, will you be drinking the Antarctica ice water that you brought back with you, and has it been off your shelf since your return? No and yes. It is. This is the Antarctica ice water in question. So this is genuine melted ice from Antarctica. That, yeah, for some reason I just decided when we were leaving, they had these water bottles because they say have a water bottle with you because you don't want to die of dehydration. And I did use it quite a lot, but then once we were at camp, they had a big tent, a food tent full of meals and just like, you know, endless beverages basically. So once we were back at camp, the water bottle was sort of surplus. So when we were when they said we have to pack everything away, I thought, well, I don't really need this anymore. I'm going to fill it with ice. So I literally just crammed a load of ice from Union Glacier Camp into this and shoved it in my suitcase. And it has not been opened since. Obviously, the ice has now turned to water. But yeah, that is genuine, undisturbed ice from Antarctica. Absolutely crystal clear. And no, I will not be opening it. So yeah, I did get a couple of super chats as well. Crypto Roast, £2 says, what cash use my super chat budget? You get the £2. Well, thank you very much, Crypto. Addicted to Globing, who's been a member of, who's been a fan of Rusty for 9 months, been watching Toon's footage. Can't believe how big that studio was. Trust me, in some of the clips that you're going to see in a minute, it's even more incredible. Turtle Moose, £2. Christmas treats for Rusty. You've got Christmas treats. Nope, nothing. 50 plus keep active, $1 New Zealand dollar. Thank you very much. Addicted to Globing, $10. What did Witsit bring, or was he just extra luggage for Jaren? He brought much entertainment. It did dear old Witsit. He brought some memorable moments. For example, as you may have seen before in Toon's footage, and if you don't, you'll see it in this thing eventually, during the live stream when somebody asked me while I was looking after Toon's stream, and somebody asked, where's Witsit? And the genuine answer at that time was, he's under a table. It wasn't any word of a lie. He was trying to get some sleep and there wasn't much room, but it was just really funny, as just the initial answer that came into my head was, he's hiding under a table. And he brought the wisdom of saying that flat Earth is a psyop to stop people talking about geocentrism. Get your head around that one if you can, because I couldn't. I had to ask him the same question. I had to ask him 3 times to clarify what he was talking about because I thought you're arguing that the Earth's not flat, it's geocentric, and every time you're trying to debate, you want to talk about geocentrism, and people are only wanting to talk about flat Earth. So very much shot himself in the foot there. Mr. President 99, 20 euros. Well, mad respect to you for this, but you forgot to mention Witspit's video material. Oh, wait, there was not. Thanks, Dave, for that. Well, Witspit did do a live stream. He did one live stream while we were there. And you know what? Actually, there was a very important moment within his stream that I hadn't really picked up on at the time because I'd wandered off at that point. But whilst he was filming one of the Twin Otter planes, one came into land and then one took off. And I managed to get video of both of them. But I didn't realise that Witsit actually managed to get it on his live stream as well. Even though it wasn't particularly clear, you can kind of make out where it is. And when you see it all sync together, it's a hell of a big studio to pull that one off. Barry, if that's genuine Antarctica ice water, shouldn't it be upside down? I put it in the bottle upside down. Don't worry, it's okay. Mr. Toffees, member for 9 months. Merry Christmas all. Merry Christmas to you too, sir, even though you support shit football team. Yeah, so a couple of other little, another surprise I was hoping to present to everybody. Although I'm not entirely sure it's going to work, but we'll see how this goes. So, as you are probably aware, you've seen like the mug that I often use for streaming, which is that panorama photo that is behind me in all my videos. And I've had a lot of people comment and ask since getting back where they can buy a copy of this from. Or would I be offering a copy of it? And the problem I had was I have a Teespring store set up where I put all my merch and stuff, and they offer poster prints, but they only offer fairly regular aspect ratios, not wide ones like this. So I had a version that was sort of like that bit, I think, of the panorama. So just the halfway point and the sun in the shot that's been on there for a while. But a few people were asking about panoramas. Well, Teespring didn't offer panoramas. I had to get that custom printed. I had to find a company who would do custom prints of panoramas, unfortunately. So I thought to mark the 1 year anniversary, I'd find a way of offering it up. But like I said, they don't do it in anything like that, and I couldn't find any other store any other company that offers like an online store setup that do panorama prints. So instead, what I've done is on my Teespring store, there is now a link to buy the digital file of that panorama. So you can just you can buy it, and they will email you the digital. And then if you want it, you can get it printed wherever you can find that will print whatever size you want. The only problem is I put it on the store a couple of weeks ago. And then I just went to get the link for it to put it in the YouTube comments, and it's not loading on Teespring. As in, nothing is loading on Teespring. The whole store seems to be down at the moment. So if you check in the description box below the first chunk, there is a link in there that you can click on and see if it will load for you. And I'll put a link in the description as well. I'll put a link into the chat now if I can work out where I put it. Here. So, like I say, whether this will actually load for people or not, I don't know. For whatever reason, their store's down at the moment, or it was when I tried it, unless you guys might have more luck. But anyway, present number one is if you want to be able to get your own big ass print of this, you know, put it on a billboard somewhere in Times Square and make people cry, it's entirely up to you. Yeah. Well, all right, it's not loading for a couple of people. Problem on their side, I'm afraid, but keep an eye on it. Hopefully it will get fixed, and if it doesn't, I'll find another solution. In the meantime, yeah, in the meantime, let me show you some of this. Just to give you an idea of the level that this goes through. So, for example, here is whilst Toon is filming on a live stream. So this is the live stream that obviously you all saw in real time, and here is the view from his GoPro, which he did move because it was here behind us at one point. So yeah, there it is. There's me and Toon at the laptop. There's Tuna back there, I think. And then this is the other one of Will's 360 cameras, and this is my time lapse. Okay, so all of them are all running simultaneously. If I can now get that to play, or is it gonna lag? I may struggle with this. The budget is, there's no such thing as really a budget camera. If you're learning photography, it's more like it's kind of like learning to drive, right? So, it takes a bit of time to load all of this because it's obviously going through Premiere Pro and it's trying to load a load of different videos all together. But I just wanted to show you the level of everything that's gone into this, and even points where I'm trying to find it, like this one, for example. So this bit I particularly like because this is, and you may have seen this clip before, I have played it before on live streams. This is, as you can see, early hours of the morning. This is what, according to Jaren's camera, 6:20 in the morning. So this was after we'd had the saga of Starlink crashing, but having been live. And so here we have the two real-time 360 videos, the time-lapse video, Jaren's solar camera, and then this is my camera as I come out of the hut and I walk on over, and again you can see this in all three different cameras here, and I walk over to check on my EQ mount and show, here we are. So you can see me here in my own 360 camera showing the screen of the 360 camera, and then go and check in the EQ mount. Yeah, it's obviously as by some minor miracle, everything fits together. It's incredible. It's even so well put together, so meticulously well faked, all of this, that all I had to do, having found one of my videos that synced up within Will's 360, all I had to do was look at the timestamp on the video file or the picture. When was this taken? What time did I take that one that I've now synced up? And if it was, say, 2 a.m., and then I look at another picture and it was shot at 4:34 a.m., I know it was taken 2 hours 34 minutes after. So I just go into the timer here, and wherever that original picture is, add 2 hours 34 minutes. Boom! Oh look, here's me in Will's 360 video taking another picture or shooting another video, as if by magic. So yes, all of this is all put together in one massive video. It's not 100% perfect, and by that I mean you saw here, for example. Is it there? Oh no, I'm just breaking everything. Yeah, so here you can see this is my time lapse and my video and Will's video. So the video that I shot syncs up fine with Will's camera. The problem I got was my time lapse was drifting a little bit, and the reason, as annoying as it is my time lapse, obviously being a time lapse, it's just taking pictures every few seconds. It's not quite. Premiere Pro will only let me change the speed, as you can see here, in to 2 decimal places of a percent. But when I'm trying to take a 25-minute time lapse and sync it to a 25-hour video, it's just such a big difference in playback speeds that I couldn't get it to perfectly line up. All I had to do really was find one point at the start where, like, one frame where they both line up with each other, and then find a matching frame at the end, and then just make the two the same length on the bar, on the playback bar. The problem was 1.64% speed was too slow, and 1.65% was too fast, and I couldn't get it in the middle. And if I just split the clip in half and go, this half is 1.64, this half is 1.65, it would slowly drift out of sync and then slowly come back into sync for the end. So basically what I had to do was kind of go through it and find the important points of the video where we're actually out on the camera doing stuff, like out and around the cameras, and make sure those bits were fairly well synced, and then kind of juggle everything else around. So there are moments where on my time lapse it drifts a little bit, but we're talking a couple of seconds out one way or the other, and everything's still, whatever you just see in one, you'll then soon see in the other. But I'm no doubt flat Earth will go, that's fake. Yeah, so but there are a couple of points within it that are really exquisite. And I did just notice Jaren was in the chat as well. Yeah. Hey, Jaren. How you doing? Yes. It is insane to believe it's been a whole year. In fact, there's a couple of other bits, just niggly little things that I wanted to show, because we did get a lot. And if this was all fake, how incredibly fake it was. That, as you'll have seen in Toon's video, when we went to ALE's office, they gave us all little paper bags with branded ALE body warmers in. These are wicked, by the way. I still wear this pretty daily now. I bought for my 2 youngest kids little ALE penguins, and which are the ALE logo penguin. I think that's some incredible forethought from Will, isn't it, to fake stuffed toys in the shape of ALE. And then I did mention to Vlad on one of his coping sessions about getting a snow globe. And I think he thought that I bought a snow globe in Antarctica, and it wasn't. It was actually this. And on that side is me. And the whole thing's a snow globe. So this was actually, while I was in Antarctica, I took that picture, which I put on to the my YouTube page, and then I also took this picture, which is, if those things would disappear, I'll make that a little bit bigger for you. The little elf on the shelves, because obviously I was away for a good chunk of Christmas, or on the lead up to Christmas, and that is in the lead up to Christmas where the pestery little elves come and cause havoc. And so I was abandoning the children or the responsibilities of sorting all that stuff out. So yeah, those cheeky pesky elves found a way to make it to Antarctica with me. So I sent a picture of them on the sign that they had. And so my wife then had got those printed and put into a little snow globe, which normally now sits in my daughter's bedroom. And I was like, if we were actually in some studio in the Vegas or wherever faking all of this, I would not be on Zoom, on video calls to my kids in the middle of Antarctica, which I have actually got a screenshot somewhere, because I at one point I was on a video call to my youngest and I screenshotted me in Antarctica whilst on the phone to her, because she's only young and she's not going to remember it, so I thought I'll just screenshot it to remember that by. But I'm like, if I was actually faking it, I wouldn't put in snow globe of me faking all of this in her bloody bedroom. But anyway, the legend that is Jim Daniels has just gifted 10 memberships, so there are 10 new people who are now fans of Rusty, whether you like it or not. And another fan of Rusty, the other legend of Val, who's been a fan for 9 months, says, "Hi Dave, Jaren doesn't have a spanner. I think he needs one. Would you like me to mod him?" I will do that right now, because you're right. Jaren does deserve a spanner. In the meantime, if I can... There we go. There we are. Jaren, you have earned yourself a spanner. It's a 1-year present for being a legend. You are now a spanner. So, yes, let me get now the clips that I wanted to show you.
Excited about.
So this is the first one, which is DroneGate. This is where Will went live, because we'd had the loads of people suggesting that we'd faked the live stream with a green screen, even though the green effect was on one piece of clothing and not on the background. But Will, in Will fashion, went above and beyond in the most insane way possible by doing a live stream with blue stuff and green stuff and every other color of stuff to show that we weren't using a green screen. And he had Toon go live at the same time, walking around live streaming from 2 different cameras. So this is Will's live stream. This is Toon's live stream. This is Mark Herman filming it on his phone that he then published, not as a live stream, I don't think, but as a separate just video on his YouTube channel. This is me recording, and you can see me just there on those cameras with my Sony.
Upside down,
would have to go through the
right
green
side up,
screen.
twist
Of
it
course,
all
I'm pretty far
around.
away from him already.
This is my DJI drone that I brought to...
And I will just apologize in advance for some of the audio moments on this, because obviously I'm dealing with a lot of different cameras, and there was times like this one where I wanted to leave the audio running from different cameras, so it does get a bit warpy at times with multiple people talking at the same time from completely different places. But it's more just to kind of reinforce that you're not faking this in a studio. So, what I love about this, as you'll see, Where's
Okay,
Wally did
hopefully
a
you can
similar
hear me with
thing
the drone,
where
but
he
I'm also
synced together all the
going to
video. Oh, and this
record
is now the
what the
footage
drone is
from what
videoing
the
to
drone is
my
recording.
screen.
So Where's Wally did do one like
I'm
this,
gonna go
where he
backwards.
put together this bit for the drone flight and he published it
So obviously,
on his channel.
there was a green screen. This drone
But
would not be
this,
able to
as you'll see,
fly
just
backwards
takes it a step
and
further
record
because
MC
you'll
tunes,
see
also live
the
stream.
drone flying off now, and
It's
Toon
also
walks with the
filming
drone. And
the
when he's
drone.
close to the drone like this, the drone starts beeping because there's a collision warning on it. So Toon stops and the drone carries away, and then the beeping stops. And then Will starts bringing the drone back towards. So you could see how far away the drone went there. Alright, fair all way. But because it had been beeping, Flat Earthers immediately took this as he had to stop the drone there because that was where the wall was. Right? That was their argument. That's where the studio wall is. That's why he had to stop the drone. That's why the drone was beeping. Studio wall. And I don't know why, right? But you'll see. I'm stood and I'm filming, right? This drone as Will now lands it. And I just stop the recording there and I start walking off. Because right in that moment, something in my head went, what's the betting Flat Earthers will say the drone didn't go far enough? And I don't know why. Maybe I'm the Flurf whisperer. I don't know. But something just in my mind thought, they're going to say the drone didn't go far enough away to prove you weren't in the studio. So I went for a walk. And you can see me on all the cameras in the back here. I know I'm going to take some photos. I thought I'll get some photos of this so you can see me walk off. And I tried to make sure the whole time I could see Will's laptop. I think when I first looked back and I zoomed in, I was actually looking to see, can I see Will's laptop? Because I know if I can see Will's laptop can obviously see me. And then I started taking some pictures at one. Where am I? I can't even see where I've gone. Oh yeah, I'm way off down here now. But whenever I take a picture, I'll put the picture up on the video as well. And then I went further than drone went, and then I took some pictures, and then I carried on going.
That includes Flat Earth Dave. You should know by now, if you know Flat Earth Dave, that he uses a green screen. He's always got different images and videos up behind him, and in a conversation, he can pull up whatever he wants to show people. And that's because he's using a green screen. So he came to my defense and said, hey guys, this is just the green screen effect.
So, like I said, I've got there's a lot of points where the audio goes a bit crazy on itself because obviously live stream's going at one point, and then I wanted to keep Toon's audio going as well, so you can see everything going on. But yeah, this is all synced together, all simultaneously, and I know some flat earthers are going to go, oh well, I mean, you can see me like. I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen. You can't see me pointing at the screen, but right there, like, this is me now walking back, like trekked off into the distance. And then you've got here Mark Herman, who's going off into show inside the hut. Oh, for anyone asking where's Whitsit, that's where he is. Yeah, so the drone flight bit, Wally'd already shown, but then immediately after the drone, I went walking off up the path, and like I say, I put together those, put the photos in as well, and then I'm just going to skip through because just to kind of show you. So Toon carried on. He was live streaming for half an hour, and he's going around and he's showing all the experiments, and like I said, this is, even though everything's all being online in separate parts, it's not all being brought together, which is the problem. I think flat earthers kind of look at a clip and they go, there's a problem with that. I'm calling the whole thing fake. Or they'll see another clip and go, I can't see anything wrong with that. let's just ignore it. Whereas if when you put it all together, then you've got a problem. Which is what I had with the great Steve from England, the body language expert, who turned around and said, it suggested that all the 360 video was fake. But when I asked him, what about the live streams? And he said, oh no, the live streams are all real. He said, I've checked them, I've verified them, they're all real. Until I pointed out to him that, as you'll see in all of this, not only are the live streams happening in the 360 cameras and you can see them all together, but Will live streamed at midnight when the sun was here. Toon live stream, or CT live streamed immediately after that, followed by Toon after that. So the sun went through this part of the lowest point and climbing back up again without setting. Will's now live streaming, the sun's over here. Whitsit was then live streaming when the sun's sort of, I don't know, somewhere on the edges here, and then I live streamed when the sun's over here. So all these live streams that he's just confirmed were all real, are all visible on the 360 cameras, and the sun's visible at every part of the sky. And I asked him, when did the sun set? And he went, well, what I want to talk about is body language, which is, that's some body language right there for you. So yeah, you can see, obviously, all of this. But then I think this clip that I carried on going, it was even just like there. I think you can see me here. I was just taking pictures of the Tucker.
Encourage you guys
kind of
to,
just
artsy
bits as well. But then what's funny is after the live stream, obviously live streams ended, you guys wouldn't have seen all this. But Will ends the stream. And I think Toon was carrying on going with the stream for a while. And then here. I think it was around here somewhere.
Window. The router for the Starlink did a hard update. So there it is. Let me see.
Yeah, so right Toon's going to show his show the Starlink on the roof
taped in the window
at this point.
The Wi-Fi router for the Starlink.
I've got the camera set up here, so I'm like trying to get a low angle view shot. Will has walked off to the Tucker, or he's walking off to the Tucker now, and he's got his drone in his hand.
There you go. Hope you saw that. Yeah, satellites are real. So, all right.
Again, you can see me in both the 360 camera, and this is
Toon's about it for now. We got a bunch more
action cam.
David Keegan's been
working
his butt off. Critical Think's been working his butt off. We're going to measure the length of a line of longitude down here this afternoon. We got Bob Bobart says, have you seen McFlatty in Alaska, Antarctica? I have not, but I hope not.
And I do have to say,
Bo Falcon says, I hope you're staying hydrated and haven't been able to sleep at all. Not a lot of sleep yet, enough, but not a ton. And been drinking a lot of water. They feed us really well here.
Will's got his drone. He's just launched his drone, which on his 360 camera, you can actually see the drone disappear off. If you find this point in the original 360, you'll see the drone go up.
Is that right? Says, I've been enjoying
and I'm lying up
your trip early. Thank you so much for keeping us updated regularly and communicating with us.
Which I think you'll all agree is a bloody big studio.
Riz 84.
Yeah. And then also this one. So this was this was 2:30 in the afternoon. We'd been away from camp, and we'd not long got back from camp, and as we'd been driving up from Union Glacier Camp back up to halfway point, we'd passed someone who was just walking on the ski loop. So I'm probably going to butcher a description here, so let me find this picture to show you so you can get an idea. So this is the view from. I've had to draw the path in. It was for a video. So main camp is here. Halfway point's here. Their normal loop that they have that you can go and walk around is out the camp, past the edge of the runway, up to this hairpin turn, along here, and then you should just go straight along and do that. But they put this dog leg in for the marathon. That's why they call it halfway point, because it's a halfway point of the marathon, and they make it a dog leg to make the path, the whole track, long enough for the purpose of the marathon. So it doesn't really show up quite clear here, but this red line is the really thick plowed path that you can see in the footage. But at the bend here and here, there's actually a small narrow path that carries on, which if you're out walking, you can just walk along. So as we were driving back up to halfway point, we'd passed this guy who was just on the path, walk from sort of here, walking along this way. So I was keeping an eye out for him, and then I spotted him walking off in the distance. So I came over, and at this point I had this lens, so only a fairly short 75mm, and I took a couple of photos, and you can just see this little person here. And then I thought, I need a better view. So after I take a couple of pictures, I go back to the table to get this thing, which is a 70 to 180mm. So, I mean, if I wanted an ideal picture, I'd have used the great big telephoto lens that was unfortunately pointing at the sun. But I went over and swapped the lenses, but then I zoomed the footage in because, again, in Will's 360, you can actually see the guy walking in the distance. So I've got him on the 360 camera whilst I'm filming him, and then getting some more pictures as well. And yeah, and then even I think at that point, because I couldn't see anything, like usually if you take a picture and then you just look at the back screen, it's so bright out there you literally can't see. So every picture that I was taking, whenever I was taking like a shot like that and I wanted to make sure it came out right, I'd have to go and look back at the viewfinder, but then it just looks like I'm taking a picture of the floor when I do it. So yeah, those were just two little bits that I'd caught that I really liked, because they just showed the insanity of the idea that we were in a studio somewhere. And I mean, there are more. Like I said, when this eventually goes out, which like I said, I'm going to start premiering it at the end of this. I started making some notes somewhere. I don't know. I was going to say I started making some notes. That's all notes for my next video, which is coming out on Wednesday, which is one many of you have requested, which is the man with the most appropriate initials ever, Bart Cybrell, against Charlie Duke. So yeah, I've got a video pulling that one to pieces coming out on Wednesday. But I'm going to be premiering this over the next 24 hours. In fact, I will get that set up to start premiering now and round off this live stream so that you can rewatch TFE in all its glory, like I said, with all of these cameras synced up, where you can even at one point, if you catch it right, see me wander off into the distance to photograph this. And I actually put each of the pictures as I'm taking them and then going back. And then the other one to look out for is during Whitsit's stream. During Austin's live stream, towards the end of it, I think, there's a twin otter that you'll hear come into land. And he's got his back to Mount Rossman. I think he turned the camera and he's got his back to Mount Rossman. Well, when you see it, just like a couple of minutes before it comes into land, find me in the 360 camera and watch what happens. Because I'd been told that the thing was coming into land. I knew from where we were we couldn't see the camp, but I thought maybe if we get a bit further down the track and back up that dogleg, we might be able to see the camp enough to see the plane come into land. So I mentioned it to Jonathan, and then when we heard the plane, or as we knew the plane was coming in, he and I walked off down this path, off along to somewhere around here to video it. And then I've actually got the video of the plane coming in and disappearing behind the ridge line to land at the mountain. So yeah, really I want this as like for any whenever you come across a flat earther who starts arguing that it's fake because the shadows of Toon during the Where's the Guns Nathan call, because a flat earther will look at the video that I shot as I'm walking around, and in fact I'm pretty sure the point where the shadow length changes is I step on this block of ice and nearly trip over at one point, but I actually kind of stood up on a block and then dropped back down again, which completely changed the vantage point of the camera. But you couldn't see any of that from the one video, from the one perspective that flat earthers were looking at. So with this, you can go, okay, well, here it is from 4 different camera angles all at the same time. Why is the shadow only changing in one? Right. So what was I doing? I was setting up a Premiere while Rusty proceeds to do nothing. Yeah, don't let me disturb you. So ideally what I want to do is set this to Premiere and send you all, ideally when I end this stream, over to that so that you can see it. That is my plan. I did start putting together, although I can't find the list now, I did start putting together a list of timestamps, so I want to get like a big long list of all the key points of any little things that are like, how are you doing this in a studio, or this is where the midnight live stream is, and I want to put them all as like a one big long comment of key points for people. So if you're watching along and you see anything that you think's worth noting, put a comment on it for me, and I'll try and collect them all and put them all into set as an instant premiere. I want to set it as a premiere from now. Not now. Premiere in 4 minutes for part 1. So I will put the link there and say try and set up a reroute, although I can't actually remember how to do that. Where am I? Here, I think. No, I do not want one list. Why can't you just give me a simple option? Too difficult to offer, apparently. Oh, well. I can't work out how to do it. Sorry, everyone. You'll just have to click on the link. Aaron, is there any way to test whether the human eye creates a lens effect like a fisheye lens? What do you mean if there's a way to know if we see like fish? Because, well, if we look like fish, everything will constantly be distorted anyway. Just make sure before I wrap this up, I've not missed any others. Oh, God, quite a few super chats I've missed as well. Hackraman, $5 Australian. The work you all did for TFE was amazing, but there's no surprise that Fleurs cannot accept the truth. There are flat earthers who can't accept the truth, but there are plenty of flat earthers who can accept the truth. Gavin, what's your reaction on the Bart Cybrell Charlie Duke podcast? It's pretty much the same script that Cybrell pulls constantly, with a few added quirks, actually. I wasn't expecting him to pull the argument of there wasn't enough oxygen, but pretty much all the stuff is stuff that I've debunked before. There's some new bits that I've seen that I wasn't aware of. A few pieces of debunking evidence towards this stuff that I wasn't aware of either, which I've also included. But overall, it irritated me because, as I highlight in the video, Cybrell went from 12 months ago, Joe Rogan asked, or last year, Joe Rogan asked him, would he be up for debating somebody? And he said, yeah, absolutely, I'll be up for it. Tried making out to Rogan that no one's asked him to debate before. But he was up for it. Rogan put it out as a public thing, who like anybody up for debating it, and Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut, said he'd be up for it. And according to Tim, Cybrell backed out. And then he's tried organising another one with Cybrell on somebody else's podcast, and it keeps getting pushed back. And suddenly now, Cybrell's, I don't want to debate the victims who believe NASA's crap. I only want to debate the perpetrators, namely the people who aren't familiar with this script inside out and back to front, and who could just take one look at it and go, well, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, and that's wrong. He instead wants to go after, the only reason he wants to go after Charlie Duke is because Charlie Duke doesn't know all his arguments, doesn't know the ins and outs of it all. It's stuff from decades ago, most of which didn't actually involve him at all. So, yeah. Turtle moves, £2. Watching you, watching them, watching everyone. Yes, it's like Inception. Val, hi Dave. Jerry, got that one. Jerry doesn't have a spanner. He does now. Tad is mad. Also one member for 9 months. Are there any updates on the documentary from Jonathan? Also, Pet Rusty for me. There we are. That's one done. And documentary, I don't know. It was, last I heard, it was very near completion. There was just a few last bits of brush up, and he was waiting for some feedback from some publisher friends that he's got. Yeah, I've not heard anything since then. I'm kind of waiting to get an update myself. Derek the Dullard, £2. Can't believe it's been a year already since TFE. I know it's utterly insane. I can't. I'm sitting here thinking, I can't believe a year ago was on the ice and the meltdown was starting, and it's just not stopped. Addicted to globing, $5. Dave, this is off topic, but I have to ask, the GoFundMe for CT is at 69%. What's the likelihood of fundraising to get the other 31? It's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, we did the big push a while ago with DPD bunks and organised it and got a load of different people involved to arrange it. I think The difficulty is, like, in the build-up and the immediate fallout from TFE, there was sort of a lot of drive to get it. It's kind of faded away. Potentially after the with the documentary, when that comes out, might kind of reignite interest in it to do another drive. Possibly, but I don't know. We'll have to see. GG1 BMX for $5 something. When will the documentary be released? Like I say, I don't actually know. I'm afraid. I'm eagerly waiting for it myself because I'm looking forward to it. Ted Park, $10 Canadian. It's been a year already. Thanks for going there and demonstrating the 24-hour sum. It was absolutely my pleasure. It was a surreal experience that will live with me for eternity, really, because I think it'll take more than me dying for me to forget all of that. And then Evil Producer for $2. Great job, Dave. Get out. Et al. Oh, thank you very much. Anyway, right. So the video part 1, I believe, all being well, should now be online and premiering if all is going well. What? Okay, apologies everybody. That is very unfortunate. But yeah, this is what has happened. YouTube has seemingly recognized the video as being a 360-degree video rather than a equirectangular, which is it's supposed to be. So I'm going to have to stop that and re-upload it, which is a little annoying. I think you'll all agree. But obviously it kind of defeats the purpose. Let me just check that the other one has actually worked the way it's supposed to. Right. Okay. Good news, at least, is part 2 is working. So, yeah, that's part 2. That's now working. I've just realized I've just showed you part 1 before deleting it, and it didn't actually show you it properly. But basically, this is how it's supposed to look. And for anyone who's just been on to see, it was basically just showing it tried to project this as a 360 video, not an equirectangular, which it wasn't supposed to do. So what I will do is put a pin in all of this. I'm going to re-render and re-upload part 1, and I'll get that up as soon as. I was going to premiere the whole thing. I'll see how long it takes me to do. I don't want to drag, kind of leave it all waiting for too long. I don't get why that's done that, because I could have sworn I'd set it when I had this. I kept having issues with it. I can show you the bloody issues I was having. So, yeah, I had the full 24-hour video, or I was going to do the full 24-hour, and then I had to split it. So I split it into part 1 and part 2, but part 1 ended up being more than 12 hours, so it wouldn't let me upload it. So I then tried changing it, and part 2 was 13, so I had to shrink that down. And then part 1, for some reason, when I tried to render it, the mistake I'd made was... No, that's part 1, and that's right. I had part 1A. And when I tried to render it here, I've got Jaren's body cam video, but I'd left it in the same part of the screen as where his solar camera was. So you then couldn't see his body cam footage, which was irritating. So I tried to re-render it, but for some reason it kept crashing after rather than recording 11 hours, it would only do like 7 hours and then just kept crashing. So I had to do a 7 and a 4 and then try and stick them together. But for some reason, when it's rendered the two together, it's gone and left it as a VR video rather than yeah, it's put it as a VR video rather than an equirectangular. So YouTube's trying to project it as a VR video when it's not made for that. So I'm going to remove that and re-render the whole thing, and then re-upload it and then put it for everybody. So yeah, apologies everybody for bigging it up and then ballsing it up. I like to do that. It's, you know, it's how I roll with things. So that is, I'm just trying to remember where I'm up to now. So that is the one I messed up. I can get rid of that. That is a not loading one. I'll get rid of that. So I've managed to fill an entire hard drive with videos of a 360-degree camera. So right. Okay. Now I'm trying to get this to re-render and I've just realized I've cleared off the wrong file. Everything's going swimmingly. Right. Okay, everyone. I'm going to wrap this up so I can bang my head off a table while I try and get this to fix. And then, yeah, as a... hopefully, I'll... just making sure I've not missed anybody out in the comments before I wrap things up. So, apologies to everybody for building the suspense and then arsing it up. But I will get this out as soon as possible. So, with that, I'm going to bid you all a good night. Rusty, you're going to say goodbye? No, Rusty's dreaming. So, thank you everybody for stopping by and watching me screw everything up. Thank you to everybody who's really just sort of supported TFE before, during, and after. Like I say, it's a year of meltdowns, chaos, tantrum throwing from flat earthers who still appear in my comments on a daily basis, and yet none can explain TFE and will throw arguments of studios and the likes. And so, yeah, this footage, once it's finally up and running, should be my kind of the crescendo for me for TFE of going, if any flat earther goes, it's fake, I can just go, please explain this. So, with that, I'll bid you all a good night. Like I said, keep an eye out on Wednesday. The Cybrel Charlie Duke teardown will be going live, and if I don't see you all beforehand, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Rusty sits atop his big red chair, casting out looks without a care, with his sidekick Dave close at hand, teaching us about the globe. Sunspots or the new space probe, the daring duo will make their stand. Rusty lies in his big red chair, belly rubs legs up in the air. It's a clever ruse to be sure. He may look sleepy, don't be deceived. Don't let your thoughts be preconceived. He can spring to life in a big red blur. Rusty rejected. So many of them to be corrected. Rusty sleeps in his big red chair. Those floppy ears still hear, I swear. He dreams of conspiracies to come. Dave leaves him be, he knows the score. It's action that this hound lives for, and his foes must all eventually succumb. Rusty has a nose for facts, a science-based directive. Battling conspiracy theories like a true canine detective. He can't be denied. So many have tried, so many have failed and ended up dejected. Just like the fish John West rejected. So many of them to be corrected. Yeah, too